Namaste, Mr. Babu Arnachalam. Mr. Babu
வணக்கம்.
Arnachalam, Mr. Babu Arnachalam is from Bangalore. Even though he is from Tamil Nadu, he is born and brought up at Chennai and settled in Bangalore and doing a wonderful business in Bangalore. Actually, Mr. Babu, I know him for last 15 years. 15 years. That is from 2005 onwards. I know Mr. Babu. Previously, before coming to this industry, he was with a syndicate bank. Then he resigned his job and he settled in Bangalore. He is basically a BSc statistics and CAIIB, because since he is there, he was there in the bank. He has done a CAIIB, and after that, he has in 2000 he has taken up ICICI Prudential Life Agency, and subsequently he came into mutual fund in 2003 after year and coming into force. First few months he was I think 6 months to 7 months he was with NJ initially. Then he was on his own. Main thing is he's a founder secretary of Kamfa, which is a successful running entity in Karnataka. They have created a wonderful record in Karnataka. The entire Karnataka, even today, Kamfa is ruling. That's because the base, they have all the foundation stone laid by these people. Sir, welcome again, sir. And today I would like to know what made you come to mutual fund industry, sir? Because you are a banker, and you are doing insurance also. What made you come to mutual fund industry, and who is the lucky guy who brought you to this industry?
சார், உண்மையை சொல்ல போனோம்னா நிறைய விஷயங்களுக்கு ஏன் எதுக்குன்னு தெரியாது. ஏதோ டீ குடிக்கும் போது ஒரு நண்பர் சொன்னார், இது மாதிரி மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்டுன்னு ஒன்று இருக்கான், அதுல பேசாம ரிஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணா நல்லா இருக்கும்னு சொல்றாங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னாரு. Then he told me like UTI is conducting some test for is arranging some thing, AMFI something. So we didn't know anything. So we just went to UTI office in MG Road. Incidentally, ICICI Prudential Life Insurance Office on the Residency Road la dhaan irundhu appa பக்கத்துல தான். So we just walked in. அவர் என்ன இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணாரு. அப்புறம் so they அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த எக்ஸாம் எழுதினோம். என்ன இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ண நண்பர் இன்னி வரைக்கும் பெரிய மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட்ல அவர் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அந்த எக்ஸாம்ல பாவம் அவர் கிளியரும் பண்ண முடியல. அதுக்கப்புறம் சப்சிக்வெண்டா பண்ணாரு, எல்லாம் பண்ணாரு. பட் ஸ்டில் அவர் மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட்ல பெருசா இது பண்ண முடியல. பட் என்ன தள்ளி விட்டுட்டாரு அவர்.
நீங்க வந்துட்டீங்க. வெரி குட் சார். சார், இப்போ இதுக்கு எனக்கு உங்ககிட்ட இன்னைக்கு நான் மெயினா ஒரு செஷனுக்கு கேட்டுக்கிட்டதே கம்ப்ளைன்ஸ் சார். ஏன் கம்ப்ளைன்ஸ் அப்படின்னு கேக்குறீங்கன்னா, இன்னைக்கு நிறைய மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட் டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட்டர்ஸ் இந்த கம்ப்ளைன்ஸ் இஷ்யூஸ்ல ரொம்ப லேகிங்கா இருக்காங்க. அவங்களுக்கு என்னென்ன தெரியல. அவங்களை அட்வைசரா கூப்பிட்டுக்கலாமா, ஒருத்தர் அட்வைசர்ன்றாரு, ஒருத்தர் நான் ப்ராடக்ட் இது பண்ணலாமான்றாரு. அவங்க என்னென்ன முறை பேப்பர் ஒர்க் எல்லாம் ரெடியா இருக்கணும். நாளைக்கு ஒரு செபி ஆம்பி ஆடிட்னு வந்தாலே, ஆம்பி கைட்லைன் படி இந்த ஆடிட்லாம் இருக்கு, 100 கோடியை தாண்டா இது மாதிரிலாம். இப்ப 100 கோடிக்கு வரத்துக்கு இன்னும் நிறைய டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட்டருக்கு நாள் இருக்குன்னா கூட அவங்க எந்த விதமான பேப்பர்கள்லாம் இந்த கம்ப்ளைண்ட்ஸ் இதுக்கு அவங்க ரெடியா இருக்கணும் சார். அது மட்டும் இல்லாம நாளைக்கு ஏதாவது ஒரு பிரச்சனைன்னு வந்தா அவங்கள தற்காத்துக்கிறதுக்கு என்ன முறை எல்லாம் அவங்க பண்ணணும் சார்?
Very good question, sir. It's in whatever we have learnt it the hard way, like learning from people and all these things. I think, as you rightly said, whether we are into getting into that audit process or not, I think I will now use this word MFD, mutual fund distributor, because I belong to a mutual fund distributor as per our regulatory authorities. See, there is some confusion because even our AMFI calls us as a financial advisor, because our AMFI registered mutual fund advisor is what AMFI calls us. But the other regulator would like to call us as distributor. So there is some dichotomy there itself. Let us not get into that because it is not in our hands. So as per AMFI, I am a financial advisor, and as per the other regulator, I am a mutual fund distributor. So let me stick to a mutual fund distributor, and certain basic things I feel like this will do good to our own business. Like we can see this as a good business practices basically. So, and in that regard, I would rather thank the regulators for even streamlining those things. One simple matter, for example, see, all of us are into client transactions. See, if you get into technical details, whether it is execution or advisory, all these things. So, but as a mutual fund distributor, let me clearly say that we do for execution, transaction. We are transaction enablers. Like it is like we are supposed to like give the options to the client, the category wise, and the client will select the fund and whatever it is, the further investment, redemption, and all. So what I have done at my end is like for every transaction, if it's suppose the client wants to buy, see the transactions, commercial transactions are basically buy, redemption, and switch. So whether it's either of these transactions or in even other like SAP registration, cancellation, STP, whatever, we can extend the nature of transaction. Just a mail confirmation from the client is required. So you can send a mail to the client, transactions for execution. That the words are important. Transactions for execution. Please confirm. Dear so-and-so, as discussed, kindly confirm if we can do the following transactions. Buy these funds, sell these funds, amount, everything. So get a confirmation from the client before triggering the transaction, whether it is online or offline. For us, it's mostly like we do through NSE. But whether I say that is immaterial, whether we do through NSE or BSE or whatever it is, manual application or whatever it is, I think it's important for all of us to get a confirmation from the client, and it also from operational side, it will help us to keep track also when the client did and all these things. Even though the transaction summary and all these things will be in the software reports, which all of us are using some software for the, but I think for tracking purpose, I think this is very important to first to start with have a process in place for every transaction, record and get the confirmation from the client. And this is the transaction. Of course, I'm jumping. See, first it comes the onboarding. First you onboard the client in that process itself. And again, there are some confusion, gray areas, whether a risk profile is distributed, is required for MFD, whether MFD needs to have the risk profile of the clients. I mean, okay, even before getting into whether it is required or not, I think it's better we have it. So a simple risk profiler we can keep ourselves. It's available in so many sources, and we can develop a simple risk profiler. And whenever we onboard a client, we should get this risk profiler done by the client. And if possible, during review, and anyhow, we will be doing the review once in a while. So get the risk profile updated also, because the life stage of the clients keeps on changing. Maybe he'll get married, nomination will be changed. So many things will be married or having children or retired, or so many things can happen as the life stages keep changing. So have the risk profile in place. It will help us, first of all, leave the regulatory requirement or due diligence requirement. It will help us to understand. But if it's a different question, like for example, a normal risk profiler will have a question that if the market falls by 20%, 30%, what you will do, whether you will buy more or whether you will sell or all these things. See, even though the client say that he will buy more, practically we have seen in even in the recent fear factor, where is there? So that will be there, but at least we'll have something to have at hand. Okay, this is what the risk profile. We have done the transaction based on we have gone ahead with this. So the onboarding process is important in the risk profile part. அது ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும். அதுக்கப்புறம் பாத்தீங்கன்னாக்கா இந்த onboard பண்ணிட்டு இந்த next transaction level, once we create the portfolio with the client, all these transactions for that confirmation is also required. And whenever you change the portfolio also during the review or whatever it is, also confirmation. For example, if you have a meeting nowadays, whether it's a Zoom meeting or a physical meeting or whatever, just a meeting notes after the meeting is very much required. These are basic good things to follow, even for us, for the client and all these things. And what we discussed, which funds we are exiting, which we are entering, what are the SIPs we are changing, STPs, SWPs, or whatever it is. Keep track of that and mention everything as clearly as possible in the meeting notes, so that suppose if you are a single man or you have somebody to assist you, they will see, even if we are doing it for ourselves, it will be easy for us to carry through the transactions. Or if you have a team, operation team, back office team who is going to follow up, because there will be confusion what to do and all this. It will be easy for them to look at that trail mail and go through the transactions for the
So you
client.
want things like log sheet to be maintained.
Absolutely, sir. For transaction log sheet, see, you know that today, every transaction when the client does, he gets immediate SMS and all these things, mail, statement, everything comes from the fundos itself, registrar, sends and all these things. But if you ask me honestly, the thing which client really looks forward is your mail or my mail, which as a distributor we send. So for every transaction, we send a confirmation mail from our end, whether it is a purchase or sale or a
Switch or redemption.
And because see, there is a value add there also. For example, if the client does some 4 redemptions, let us say, we send a consolidated mail, because whereas from the mutual fund you'll get only single mail, you will not be able to track it. So we send a consolidated mail, total amount, and mentioning also the bank. For example, in one fund you would have given X bank, another fund you would have given the Y bank or whatever it is. So we mention those. It is easy for him to keep track of where is the money trail. Okay, this money. And see, so many things happen. So for example, tomorrow if there is any tax query also, so we will be able to locate at it saying, okay, this amount has come from this bank, and this investment has been done from this bank. So whether it is a purchase or a redemption or all these things, transaction log is very, very important for us to. I feel, see, the operation side is what we can really add value. That's a very, very important side, like back office service and operations. The stronger we are in that, I think the more client retention and all these things, because you know that even 2 days before there was a client discussion on the portfolio and all these things, and she told, and see, the spouse is handling. See, normally both are doctors. He was handling, and he has a health issue, like dementia sort of issue. Like so, the wife is also a doctor now, taking charge of the finances and all these things. She couldn't get hold of the PPF account for both of them.
Okay.
So, of course, I'm not a PPF agent, never been a PPF agent, but we have certain times helped for them to send our runner boy to collect the checks to deposit in the bank. And normally we try to keep track of those accounts details, whatever the PPF accounts, and we add that. And I gave it to her. She was very happy. And all distributors who are in this industry for some years definitely would have faced the same situation. People, because I'm talking about like 10 years, 15, now a lot of things have improved. People used to call and ask us, where is my PAN card? Can you send me the PAN card? Can you send me the driving license copy? Can you send me all this? All of us have faced similar situations. So because these record keeping and the back office and operations are the real value add points. See, market is not in our hands. Market going up, giving returns and all these things, it's not our making or something like that. But definitely back office, service, operations, onboarding, these I think are the areas where there's a difference between like a mutual fund distributor or whatever you call it, and then any other relationship manager like a banker or whatever it is. So nobody calls a banker and asks for a PAN number or whatever it is. It's only the first mind recall will always be this like a mutual fund distributor or whatever you want to call it. So I think we should really concentrate on those things. So coming to compliance again, like these are the things that I'll just put it in a summary once again. At the onboarding level, we should have the risk profiler in place. And then once the portfolio is onboarded, once we create we meet the client and all these things, and KYC doing and all these things, at that time, whatever the documents, we need to keep a copy of that and all these things in our, see, you can choose your own thing, like whatever security you want to provide for it. But at least the simple thing is at least a Google Drive or something like that, or OneDrive or some cloud-based tools you can use to keep those documents and all this with security, firewall and all this. And so once you have that in place, and you meet and whatever the portfolio discussion happens, that also has to be followed by a mail. This is the portfolio, this is what are the funds and all these things and all these things. That has to be clearly logged in. And then the transaction starts. Once for every transaction, we need to have the log and confirmation for every transaction, confirmation even on review and all these things. So that life cycle of a client is like, okay, first you are onboarding, and then creating a portfolio, transactions going on and changing modifications in the all these things has to be in the complaint. And believe me, it is definitely, once we have started that, it's much more convenient. We actually started loving it. So today, if you ask me for whom I am doing it for myself. I'm doing it for myself and for the benefit of my colleague who helps me in my operations and taking care. It really is helpful. So irrespective of whichever AEM you manage, if you let it be anything, I think it's useful for anyone to have these things in place.
But
and a simple disclaimer.
Here
Sorry.
I have a, yes, sir. You can have your disclaimer before I'll have one more question.
So disclaimer is important even in a website and all, even in my, all the emails, the standard footer, I use only Gmail. I'm not using any other thing. I use only Gmail. There's a standard commission disclosure is there in the Gmail. I mean, clearly mentioning that I am a mutual fund distributor and I get paid by the fund houses for the products I sell. And the SEBI circulars are also linked in that.
Okay.
So one thing is very important, sir, whether it is compliance or non-compliance, the more transparent we are with the client, the more better it is for our own purpose. I'm being very selfish in this regard. The more open you are more safe. The more I'm trying to protect myself, because tomorrow, see, today the social media, everything is very high. Like, for example, and it's not only for, he gets to know from his friend or any website or any blog saying that direct is the best mode. Did you know that your mutual fund distributor has made this much in your blah, 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 and all these things.
Correct.
He should not get offended. He should not get feel like, oh, this guy never told me. So it's there in all the communications, right? From every mail, it is the standard part of the mail is the disclaimer, say that, okay, this is my commission. The commission disclosure is that it's a simple disclosure. So, so we can be very clear. And today, every client gets in the 6 months, annual half-yearly statement, how much commission is paid to what. So we need not be anything offended. We are doing like any other profession. We are doing a profession and we are getting paid legally and rightfully for it. So there is no need to run away from it or something with it. So every mail goes with that standard disclosure. This also very much includes. Whether it is compliance requires me or doesn't require me, I included it and I feel happy about it. Yes, sir. Please.
No, disclosure only. I was asking about the disclosure only because the commission disclosure, what is the procedure we should follow? We have to give the client any signature we need to take on disclosure this much. That I have disclosed. The client will definitely say that he has disclosed. But should we have any paperwork or anything for commission disclosure? That was my the question which I am supposed to.
No, sir. I'm not very sure what the from the complaint side requirement. From my side, we have included it in every mail. It is included. So in every communication to the client is under the that emails are archived and there is a trail for it. You can easily establish that the same has been communicated. So that way. But as of now, I'm not maintaining a signed paper from the client saying that I'm aware that and all these things. But I have included that in all email communications. It's a standard part of the communications and also a part of the risk profile. And risk profile is we have done through the Google form. So where the client signs, so digital thing. So there also that is there. So there is a acceptance. But if you ask me, the acceptance comes in that in the risk profile also we have put this disclaimer. The commission disclaimer is there. Disclosure of commission norms is mentioned in that Google form itself, which is part of the onboarding. I think that should take care. I'm not a legal expert to comment on that, but we have put in that.
But one thing here, sir, regarding risk profiling, normally, see, 100% clients will not be always saying that I want only equity, 100% risk taker. No. But if you see the track record of IFAs selling mutual funds, they are selling 91% of the IFAs sell equity mutual funds. That means, do you expect all 100% client to be so risk takers? I don't know. That let us not debate on that. But my question here is, see, example, I have created risk profiling, sir. and the client is, he should have 60% equity, let us suppose, and 40% debt. Let us consider as per risk profile. But when the market has fallen from A level to the level which is the lowest, I feel this is the lowest level. Why not we add some more? That time, from the 60% equity contribution of that client, it might have gone down to 40%. But the client says, don't make 60%, make it 75% equity for me right now, because I anticipate, as you also say, I also anticipate the market to bounce back from this level. In that case, can I take the confirmation from the client in writing or an email confirmation that even though my equity complies as per the risk profiling, I should have only 60% equity, I would like to go for 75% equity right now. Can the client give a confirmation in writing? Because with this concern only we are doing. Can we do that?
So once again, say I'm not a legal authority, but what can be done is the risk profile can be, once again, you can ask the client to submit the risk profile and update it. That's all. There's a simple workaround is risk profile itself. You can rework on the risk profile itself. That's why risk profile is needs. It's not a once in a life document. Risk profile, because as you rightly said, the risk profile keeps changing. So it is not that set in stone. So this profile keeps changing, and it's better to keep it updated. And like you can either have a digitized sort of a version or something like that, or depending upon the client level, like comfort level with whether manual or digital thing. Google Form or something keeps updated, and the soft copy PDF can be stored. I think the easier workaround should be to get the updated risk profile and put it. And of course, every transaction, as I would suggest, need to be confirmed. So to that extent, so that confirmation will be there, part and parcel of the transactions. But apart from that, the risk profile itself, I feel, can be updated and kept for our records and for the client's record.
Sir, in your views, apart from these paperwork, for AMFI audit, what else also required in case there is an AMFI audit? This is the basic what you are given us. Apart from this, anything else as an advisor should I keep ready? Example, I was told by an advisor that your appointment letter also should be kept safer. When I was talking generally to an advisor, he said, they asked me question when the auditors came for AMFI audit, they asked me a question, see, you are doing HDFC mutual fund. Where is your appointment letter for HDFC mutual fund? Where is the appointment for ICICI Prudential mutual fund? Like that, they have asked, the auditors have asked them, that gentleman, the question. And finally, he somewhat managed with ICICI, HDFC, all these people. He managed that his appointment was done on so and so day. He got a mail from them and something like that. Is this also required, sir? I don't know, because I'm just checking.
I mean, even I am yet to go through the audit process.
Because they have insisted for that, I believe. One of my friend who's in Mumbai, who he had a nightmare that these people were asking, see, you have done business with ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund. Come on, give me, where is your appointment letter?
I think like that should
many things may happen. In fact, the merged, see, once the scheme, the AMC merged with one AMC, did you tell your investor the AMC merged? Of course, they might have directly sent letters also. Some kind of these kind of complicated questions comes from the auditors end. No, we all get stuck. We do not know how to take forward from this level onwards when we face such kind of questions from the auditors. That's why when audit is coming itself, 90% people are scared. Even though we are perfect in our records, we are perfect in records, because there is a mindset of people, the auditors are coming only to find fault with us. It is not like that. Even though it is not like that, people have a fear. So apart from these papers, that is onboarding claim form, risk profiling, the review of risk profiling, then whenever we change portfolio, send the confirmation mail to them. Even though it goes from the NSE, and I'm handling 100% NSE only, it goes to the client that your distributor as so and so. You agree, and he says he agrees. then only it is confirmed. He confirms, he goes to the bank, investment, everything is done also. We also maintain that.
Correct.
But apart from this, do you think anything else to be maintained at our end?
This is what we do, sir. This is what we do. And see, in schemes, in matters like this, there's always room for improvement and process improvement, and all these things will be there. And like you are doing a good thing by educating all of us, by giving exposure to various people and hearing from them. I think we'll hear from people and then take their inputs. And
anything apart from this, anything is there, let the people put it in the comment. We will thank them. We will also understand that.
Sure. So because it's not that I know it all or something like that. We see, basically yours is an effort to make like everyone learn from what others have gone through. So like I have shared what I am going through. So maybe if I'm also willing to learn from others who have something more.
Data from the client, you collect it in the Google Drive. You collect everything and collect it. That is address proof, ID proof, their photograph. All these things also you save it in Google Drive.
Sir, to be very honest and upright with you, previously, like before these digital forms and all these things, more of manual transactions were there. In those times, we used to collect like physical forms and all these things. Now, with more and more digitization and all these things, we are not actually, because KYC itself is coming e-KYC.
Correct.
So, like, so where is the question of handing and all these things? But we have like whenever we do one thing, sir, actually, I would like to talk 2 minutes about Google Contacts. Google Contacts is the primary customer, for example, it's a very powerhouse of information. Like, for example, all of us know about Google Contacts. We store the phone numbers and all these things and all the email ID and all these things. So PAN number also we can store there, because there is a notes column in the contacts. There is very, very useful for keeping some information. And like, for example, PAN number, whether KYC done and all these things. But we are not keeping all the documents. Previously, we used to keep in Dropbox, we used to keep like all the documents like PAN and all these things. Now that the entire process itself is, and with the advent of COVID, now lockdown, everything is moving into digital sort of thing like e-KYC and all these things. So less and less of documentation also we are not keeping much of the documents.
Actually,
nowadays.
I will share what we do here. See, normally what from our end, we have a digital papers of all the clients. Almost now 67 to 70%, almost 65 plus, less than 70. 30 is because those are all old clients, our 92, 93, 94, 95 clients and all. We are searching them. Still we are yet to find for updation of KYC, because address change and other things. Other clients and all, what we did is, we have created, because normally Gmail will give us only 15 GB, sir. More than 15 GB, it will say you buy. Why should I buy? So what I thought is, my main ID, that is official ID, is --@ Let us suppose 1234@gmail.com or ramesh@gmail.com. Let us consider that way, ramesh@gmail.com. What I did is, I have created an ID called ramesh1@gmail.com, ramesh2@gmail.com. So I got 15 GB there also. Whatever this thing, ramesh1@gmail.com only, we will send the Google form to the client for onboarding. They will fill everything. We will ask them to upload their PAN card. In the Google Drive itself, they can upload their PAN card, their Aadhaar card, their ration card, whatever proof they have, they can upload. And we will put a separate box for each and every client, sir. Separate folder. And we will give the access to the client also. We will share. In Google Drive, we can share. We will share the option also. If the client sign any forms in the physical mode, we will take a photograph of that, and we will upload that in JPEG mode in the same drive. So the client can see any day whatever the application we have submitted, nomination, change of nomination, change of bank, all these things, we do it there also. Like this, because otherwise our drive is getting full, no?
True. So that's a good way and useful for us also to follow and emulate.
That's right.
And apart from complaints, like there are a couple of things which I would like to
Please.
share, Mr. Ramesh. How much time we have? We have some time.
We have another 10 minutes. We can.
Yeah, thank you. See, for example, common questions. I'll just address the common questions you and me, everybody faces in the industry, like from the clients, like give me the best fund. For example, today information is everywhere. Like people go through the information already. Like people go to the doctor after studying all the things in things, and some doctors have put the board outside. If you're already consulted Google, don't come here. So like there are some doctors who have put those boards also seen. So like that we cannot do that. At least I don't want to do that. But still, so the customer is asking, okay, what is the best fund today? Whether mid cap is good, large cap is good, and all these things. So I find that is a very, very difficult question to answer, because first I don't know the answer. It's more difficult because I don't know. How do I know that this is the best fund? So I don't know, and even the fund manager will not know which is the best fund. So, but the client wants to know the best fund. What is the best fund available to invest? So this is so as part of onboarding, we have clearly like 10 commandments sort of a thing checklist. We take more time in onboarding. We'll not be in a hurry to onboard. See, normally you know that when you're in business for more than 10-15 years, most of the clients come by referrals and all these things only.
Correct.
It is not that we are doing daily some cold calls. No. So it is not that you don't onboard like that. In most of there are some people, very successful people. I've heard from Wealth Forum and all, there are successful people doing various modes. But at least I can say about our mode is like only through referrals and all these things. We get some clients, and sometimes through Google inquiry. So we spend more time in understanding the clients, and because see, it's very difficult to convince a client at a later date why we did what we did. I mean, so like so the basic bala padam mari and the checklist is there. So the mari, first of all, we say that we cannot predict market. We don't know about the markets.
Correct.
Don't come to us saying that we are experts in markets. No, sorry. We are not experts in market. We are basically mutual fund distributors, or if you want to get advisor or whatever it is. So what is our role? So defining our role is very, very important to the client and ourselves. First of all, to ourselves, let me say. So that first we need to be clear about what we are to ourselves, then to explain it to the client. So our role is not in selecting the best fund or selecting the best strategy or something like that. Our role is more of a mentorship. Like, okay, we are there, and the client is a friend like us or something like that. I'm telling you, like, I've already gone through many such situations. I'm coming to you. I'm helping you in this. Okay, how to put up a portfolio. How much, depending upon like whatever your goals and basic like calculators and all these things, and trying to understand what is his requirement, inflation, blah, blah. Basic steps, and putting up a portfolio in place. Once the portfolio is in place, risk profile and all these things is done, to make him stick to that is the most of our role. It's not about predicting what will happen, whether the market will recover in 6 months, 3 months, 9 months. Sorry, wrong number. We don't know. Exactly. So like, I think over a period, and the client also does understand over a period, this fellow will never give any prediction. Because once or twice they will ask you, Sensex, sir, 40,000 எப்போ வரும், இல்லாட்டி எப்போ சார் இந்த மாதிரி போகும், கிராஷ் ஆகுமா, திருப்பி கிராஷ் ஆகுமா, திருப்பி மேல வருமா, தெரியாதுப்பா. But see, I'm not an astrologer. See, my job, what is my job? My job is whatever funds you have invested, I need to look at those funds. I need to look at your portfolio. I need to give you a report on that. I'm more of an operational guy. Like servicing your mutual fund. I'm a service guy. Basically, I'm a service guy. I'm a distributor. I distributed the product. I'm responsible for the after sales service. I should service the product in all your transactions and all these things. And also, and whatever you have invested, I should ensure that as a coach, as a mentor, make you stick to what you have told. நீ சொன்னதை நீ பண்றதுக்கு நான் உனக்கு ஹெல்ப், அந்த நீ பாரு அன்னைக்கே சொல்லியிருக்க பாரு, இதான் சொல்லியிருக்க, நீ இந்த மாதிரி சொல்லியிருக்க, அதனால நீ இது மாதிரி கொஞ்சம் இருந்துக்கோ அப்படின்னு சொல்றதுக்கு வேணா எனக்கு இதுக்கே தவிர, அதை தவிர எனக்கு வந்து அந்த மாதிரி, அதாவது இந்த நோ நீட் டு கெட் இன் டு த அப்படின்றது என்னோட ஒரு ரொம்ப கன்வின்சிங், எனக்கு நானே சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கிற கன்வின்சிங். அண்ட் கிளைண்ட்டுக்கும் எப்பயும் நிச்சயமா டெய்லி ஒரு 4 காலாவது இன்னைக்கு வந்தா இருக்கும் சார்.
The market will go, sir. Today 10,000 it crashed. When 12,000 it's going to crash.
ஏன்னா இந்த கேள்விக்கு பதில் சொல்லி மாளாது. அதனால நம்ம அதை முதல்ல இருந்தே தவிர்த்துக்கிறது நல்லது. என்னைக்குமே நம்மளால கரெக்டாவும் சொல்ல முடியாது. கண்டவர் விண்டிலர், விண்டவர் கண்டிலருங்கிற மாதிரி யாருக்கு தெரியும் மார்க்கெட் என்ன பண்ணும்? யாருக்கும் தெரியாது. அதான்
no, we can't predict it exactly. But we can say here the fund managers, even the fund managers are not able to predict the market perfectly, sir. If you want.
Correct. தெரியாதுங்கிறத உண்மை. அண்ட் நம்ம தெரியாதுங்கிறத எவ்வளவு தூரம் நம்ம ஒத்துக்கிறோமோ அவ்வளவு தூரம் நமக்கும் நல்லது, கிளையண்ட்டுக்கும் நல்லது. See, it's better for us, and when we create a portfolio and nurture
one thing we can say, sir, long term you will get 10 plus returns, sir. That way we can.
அதாவது நான் எப்பயுமே நம்ம வந்து ஒரு வழக்கு உரைஞர் அப்படிம்பாங்களா, வழக்குரைஞர், தட் இஸ் அது வாதி பிரதிவாதி. நான் வந்து ஒரு ஜட்ஜ்மெண்டெல்லாம் இருக்க வேண்டிய அவசியமே இல்லைன்னு சொல்றேன். எதையுமே பத்தி நான் இது இப்படி ஆகும் அது அப்படி ஆகும்னு இல்லாம போர்ட்ஃபோலியோ பாத்துக்க முடியுங்கிறது தான். தட்ஸ் வாட் ஐ அம் ட்ரைங் டு கன்வே. We need not take any side at all. And whenever we give ஒரு ஏதோ பேசும்போது கூட ஓகே மல்டி கேப் ஃபண்ட், மிட் கேப் ஃபண்ட், லார்ஜ் கேப் ஃபண்ட், we need, I personally feel that simpler the portfolio the better for the client. Equity funds, not more than 2-3 equity funds. I am an index believer basically. Okay. So I give large cap index fund because I tell the clients on the onboarding, the purpose இது எனக்கு மார்க்கெட் மேல போச்சுன்னா அது மேல போகும், கீழே போச்சுன்னா கீழே போகும், அவ்வளவுதான். ஆக்டிவ் ஃபண்ட் ஒண்ணு நீ சொல்லு, எந்த ஃபண்ட் வேணா சொல்லி போடுறேன். இது நான் இண்டெக்ஸ் ஃபண்ட், நான் இது மார்க்கெட் என்ன போகுமோ மேல போகும். இது வந்து this is not going to mean this is just give market return.
Sir, you are more compliance oriented man, sir, but normally openly it is difficult. I'm honestly
correct, sir. But see, we have a framework also. I can share my framework also where we are clearly told, okay, this is, say I am more comfortable with an index fund because I do not know, I cannot be judgmental. இவர் நல்லவரா, அவர் நல்ல நாயகன்ல வந்து கேட்கற மாதிரி தாத்தா நல்லவனா கெட்டவனாங்கிறது எனக்கே தெரியாதுன்ற மாதிரி எந்த ஃபண்டு என்ன பண்ணுன்னு யாருக்கும் தெரியாதுங்கிறது ஒரு உண்மைங்கும் போது ஒரு இண்டெக்ஸ் ஃபண்டை வச்சுட்டு அதுல வாங்கிக்கோ. மார்க்கெட் கீழே போச்சுன்னா ஜாஸ்தி வாங்கிக்கோ, ஆவரேஜ் அவுட், பை மோர் யூனிட்ஸ். So the whole idea in the portfolio, it should be simple to maintain, and whatever the power of compounding, and we can also, we can do a separate marathon sessions on that, and people have know enough of it. There is no need to talk about that. But என்ன விஷயம், எதை வாங்குறோமோ அதை ஒழுங்கா வாங்கணும், ஒழுங்கா வச்சுக்கணும், லாங் டேர்ம்ல அதுல பணம் சம்பாதிக்கணும். அதுக்கு வந்து the leaner the portfolio, the smaller the portfolio, the minimalistic the portfolio, it's better even for me as a distributor or advisor, or for the client also to understand. If we have some 20 funds in the portfolio, every fund is good. Okay, இந்த சீசன்ல பலாப்பழம் நல்லா இருக்கும், அந்த சீசன்ல மாம்பழம் நல்லா இருக்கும், இது வந்து பார்த்து ஒவ்வொரு ஃபண்டா வாங்கி, there is no end to it. The portfolio becomes like normally politicians when they make a coalition government, they have to accommodate every type of person into the ministerial berthங்கிற மாதிரி. So it will become
zoo portfolio, sir. Normally it is called a zoo portfolio.
So that way, so keeping the portfolio minimalistic is what I think. So I would rather see, one is compliance and another is like once compliance and all these things are done, like transparency to the core will help us to stay and stick to the client for a longer period in time.
Trust.
And there is no
will
need
take you to the next level, right?
There is no need to be afraid of direct. Everything will be there. Let direct be there, whatever be there. And we can openly tell the client, okay, direct is there, please go buy. Exactly. I have many clients who have bought direct funds also, and with me also, and they are open about it. And I am also, when they even ask me, Babu, I have this direct fund with this fund, what do you feel about it? I don't feel any shame in nothing. And they also see, that is the level of confidence we need to bring to the client. Like a family, like a son or daughter or somebody telling you, okay, dad, this is what I have. So who is a successful parent? A successful parent is the one in whom the child confides.
Correct.
good, bad, ugly, everything. If the son or daughter comes to the parent, mother or father, and say, "Dad, I smoked, I drank, I did this," so that is a successful parent. Not in that running away from things.
Transparency. Literally,
Yes.
or in short, you are telling, be transparent.
So that
And
is the only way, sir. Because I'm being selfish. I'm not being, because that is the only way to make your client stick to you. Let me be very selfish about it.
Thank you very much,
Whatever
sir.
they,
We have learned a
thank
lot
you.
from you today. The compliance part, the transparency, and to the core on the index part, index side, large cap, because it will go. See, it cannot do the mistake. When the market is going up, it will go up. Market is falling, it is going to fall. We can say that. See, this and this. Lot of things to learn, sir, and
Thank you, sir.
extremely thankful for your time. And I know it is almost now 40 minutes of yours I have taken. I've stolen your time of 40 minutes, but we have learned a lot. And I'm really thankful to you for a wonderful job you have done today by guiding us in a very, very systematic way how the distributor should be and compliance way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ramesh, sir. You're doing a great job. Keep the good job going on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.